I want to talk about the Rockets really quick before we move on. One thing that we know, whether fair or unfair, one thing that we are 100% clear on is stars are critiqued differently than regular players. If you or your team consider you a star, you're going to get critiqued differently. Whenever the Lakers lose, the first thing they talk about is LeBron. Whenever Denver loses, the first thing they talk about is Jokic. The Bucks, we talked about the Bucks losing last episode. We talked about Giannis and Dame. When you're a star, when you're a superstar, you've played yourself to a realm that is stricter when it comes to criticism. There's a reason why when we're hearing about this Rockets team and what happened, because remember, the Rockets were the second seed in the West. They lost Game 7 at home. There's a reason why when we're hearing, when people are trying to figure out what happened to the Houston Rockets, how they lost to a 7 seed, Jalen Green's name is repeatedly brought up. And rightfully so. And again, stars are critiqued differently than regular players. Now, am I saying that Jalen Green is a star? Probably not. I think that he's a good player. I think that he has a promising future. I think that he's still very young, so he could obviously grow into becoming a star. But at this very moment, I don't think he is a star. However, the Houston Rockets don't share my same sentiment. The Houston Rockets paid him like he is a star. He has star-like qualities. While they may be small, he has star-like qualities. He can erupt and go crazy when it comes to scoring. When he is on, he's one of the best scorers in basketball. And people like, what? Yo, go look it up. Jalen Green is a human torch if I've ever seen one. The Rockets paid him like he is a star. So when they pay you, that's another thing in basketball that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about how a team views you, because you can just tell one clear indicator of how a team views you and how important a team thinks you are is the contract that they give you. They just don't give out max extensions to everybody. So when Jalen Green gets one, it's like, oh, they're showing you, oh, they believe that Jalen Green is that guy. Especially with I know you just played Fred VanVleet, but he's older than Jalen Green, and he hasn't shown the consistency to be the guy on a team, even though he did have a phenomenal series against Golden State. He's an NBA champion. In fact, he's the only point guard, I believe, that has a winning record against Steph Curry in the playoffs. So there's that. But Jalen Green, the Rockets view you as their star. The Rockets view you as the star of the future. The Rockets view you as essentially their piece. Meaning, you can't have one game in the series where you score, I think, 38 points, 33 or 38 points. And then every other game in the series, you don't even crack double digits. Because imagine if that happened with Golden State. Steph Curry in Game 7 went until halftime with 3 points. Imagine if they would have lost and he finished with 3 points. They would massacre. The same Steph Curry that has 4 championships, widely considered the greatest shooter ever, they would massacre Steph Curry in the media. I understand that the Houston Rockets have struggled all year when it comes to consistently scoring the ball. They don't really have much as far as off half court scoring. Their superpower is going in fast break. They played really great defense. They're one of the best defense. They turned themselves into one of the best defensive teams in the playoffs, in the NBA. Honestly, shout out to Ime Udoka. So I'm not solely saying that it's on Jalen Green's fault, but what I'm saying is when you're tasked an assignment, Jalen Green's assignment is, just be the star that we need you to be. Because you see Alfred Şengün, he's going crazy. He didn't have a good game 7, but he's going crazy. I understand that he has a height differential, advantage, but he's going crazy. Steven Adams is showing you how important he is to a team and how they better hope that they can keep him. I know that he's going to be a free agent, but Steven Adams can be a championship piece to a team. But the biggest indictment on Jalen Green should honestly be the talks that we're hearing after this series. Because all that I'm hearing is, what do the Rockets need? They need a go-to scorer. They need to go out and get someone like a Kevin Durant. They need to go out and get someone like a Devin Booker. They need to go out and get someone like a Giannis. No, I'm not saying that Jalen Green should be considered on the same level as KD and Giannis and Devin Booker, but the Rockets viewed you as their number one option. The Rockets viewed you as their star. And you didn't deliver. It goes back to consistency. I just talked about Buddy Hield's consistency. There should be no reason why in a game 7 at home, the literally the most important game of your life up to this point, Amin Thompson, who is a phenomenal player, him and his brother Asar are incredibly great players. But there should be no reason why he, a rookie, might I add, who's looked at primarily for his defense, is the only player that's consistent on the offensive side of the ball that game. And on top of that, he's really the only player that looks like they aren't shell shock of the moment. I understand that not many of the people on the Rockets played in game 7. And I get that it's a different level of intensity. If you've never played in the game 7, you don't know the intensity. So I clearly don't know the intensity. But I do know this. Stars are critiqued differently. And the Rockets view Jalen Green as a star. You can't leave the game. You can't leave the game with the same amount of points that your teammate Dylan Brooks left with. That's 8 points. So what I'm saying is, I get a bad game. I get it. Everyone has a bad game. I get it. But there's a difference between going, let's say, 5 for 25 compared to 5 for 10. Why'd you stop shooting? Jalen Green gets into this thing where his offense dictates his mood. If he's not scoring, he's just not in it. That's not what a star does. Again, and that's not even a shot at Dylan Brooks, but he's not a star. You should not finish a game, even if the outcome was still the same. and Steph Curry finished with 3 points, they would kill him. Obviously, it wouldn't be as bad because Golden State would have won, but still. Jalen Green. And by no way, shape, or form am I only blaming this on Jalen Green. But what I'm saying is, it was evident that the Rockets they needed Jalen Green to be the star that they view him as. And while Fred VanVleet had a great game, had a great series, I'm almost certain when you talk about the physicality that the Houston Rockets went into every game with, because let's not get it twisted. The Houston Rockets were the much more physical team than the Golden State Warriors. The only reason why a lot of people, including myself, picked Golden State to beat the Houston Rockets is because of experience, and they have the best player in the series in Steph Curry. And the second best player in the series in Jimmy Butler. Outside of that, everything was technically in the Houston Rockets' favor. Even in the series. Do you know how many games where Pods didn't do anything or Buddy Hield didn't do anything? Kuminga didn't play most of the series, 90% of the series. But one player on the Houston Rockets stepped up offensively, consistently in Fred VanVleet, while the person that they paid like a star, that they view as a star, and Jalen Green did not. Before we move on, I'm also not saying that they should look to move Jalen Green, because I think that there's not a lot of patience when we talk about the NBA these days. There's not a lot of time to allow players to develop, because things move so fast. Drafts happen every year. Hell, next week, the lottery's there. And with the lottery, most teams that are, actually all the teams that are not in the playoffs anymore, now focus on next season. So teams, they don't have the time. They don't have the patience to wait for development. Lou Williams says something. He was like, what if the Lakers just didn't care and stopped developing a young Kobe? Because Kobe wasn't great his first, 1 or 2 years. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Green is or should be a finished piece or you should let him go, but I'm saying you had an opportunity to show that, at least at this point, I am a star, and you didn't perform. Which is why now I don't think he should be replaced. I don't think they should let him go. But which is why now they're looking and saying, yo, we need a closer. We need a number one scoring option. Think about that. Jalen Green's primary input is score. And now they're talking about, we need somebody else. And Jalen Green did it to himself. I don't think they should move him. I think Houston's a great place for him. I think he is very important to that team. I don't think they should just give up on Jalen Green. But I will say that Jalen Green has not shown that he can be the consistent star that they need. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.